In this video we'll be talking about phantom power, and maybe it's important to consider what phantom power is not. It's nothing to do with this guy. Phantom power is power that's delivered over a data line rather than a power line. When I talk about a power line, I'm talking about the pins that supply power to our microcontroller or our sensor or whatever it happens to be. When I'm talking about a data line, I'm talking about where you're sending data back and forth between things. One example that this commonly happens is in I2C. So here's an example of how it might happen in practice. In I2C, we've got a master device and a bunch of slave devices. Now they might be sensors, they might be other microcontrollers, might be some memory, who knows what it is. And we've got those two data lines there, and they're supplied power separately. Now what might happen, and you notice that those data lines are pulled up, so you might have a 4.7K resistor pulling those up to VCC. What can happen is if we've got those VCCs there and we turn those devices off by removing VCC, by removing power to these slaves can be powered via the phantom power. And so we have power coming from those data lines powering up those slaves. This is actually one problem that I had with that RatSpy device that took me 2 whole days to figure out. That I was turning these things off and I was blaming the FETs and thinking, oh, the FETs aren't turning it off completely. It wasn't the FETs that are at issue there. When I removed power from the FETs, the devices kept being powered up via our data lines there. And so one solution to it is you put some FETs on your data lines as well, so you effectively remove those pull-up resistors from your data lines and disconnect them. Once you've done that, they're disconnected on the data lines, they're disconnected on the VCC, and they'll be off. They won't draw any more power. So that's just one thing to look out for in practice, phantom power. What other ways can our devices be powered up if not through the data lines?